Welcome to Drive Your Own Adventure with Benjamin Starr. With holiday parks and resorts across New South Wales and Queensland, find your dream destination with Ingenia Holidays.
We're driving our own adventure today. We've gone from steam trains to hot air balloons to whitewater rafting. Now we're down with Malcolm here at Sea Life. This is an amazing place. What's your title here?
It's Assistant Mammal Trainer.
God, what does that mean? You deal with humans?
No, we deal with the marine mammals. Our lovely seals, our lovely rescue seals that we have here.
These rescue seals, what happens if they're not rescued?
Okay, what happens is basically if you have a rescue seal, someone's called out to go have a look at a seal, see if it's injured. They're looked at, and if looking okay, fine, they're left. If not, they'll be taken into care, looked after, and then the government authorities will deem them if suitable for release again, or they will not be able to survive. Because the little ones, the ones that we have here, came in from when they're little, and some of them didn't know how to feed. Like Groucho, he's our biggest one now, but he was found at a picnic area down in Victoria, and by the looks of things, people have been feeding him, and he came dependent on humans. So he was hungry all the time. He was rehabilitated twice and released and came back to the same area. So he became a public nuisance. Right. So we're asked to care for him.
So these types of creatures, are they intelligent?
Oh, they're very intelligent. These guys here can work out problems and solve things, no worries at all.
And in terms of getting to know them, I mean, are they docile? Or can they give you a bit of a yell when they're not happy?
They're a wild animal. In one way, it's sort of like your dog in a way. The dog always has potential to be aggressive, and that all depends on what situation it's in. With these guys here, we use positive reinforcement to take care of them, which basically means they're looked after really well.
So they obviously like performing.
What they do is we have them trained up or conditioned. It's a mental stimulation for them. And one, it takes care of their health side of things. We can have them trained up for x-rays, ultrasounds, and healthcare all over. Everything else for the presentations and educations of the public. Now that is all stimulation for them, mental stimulation. So they're not actually performing, and it's up to them if they want to do it or not. So they choose.
All right, still with me. Let's give it a go. Ready? 1. Here it comes, Elizabeth. Let's give her a big round of applause. She's done a great job.
So they're not actually performing, and it's up to them if they want to do it or not. So they choose.
Do they get bored?
Not necessarily. They can basically, as you see out in the moment, got a couple of them walking around the place and noise in the background there. These guys will actually sleep and swim and do things that are natural.
So when people come here, it's really about the education. What do you want people to take away from the experience of seeing these fellas?
Oh, look, a lot of people don't get the privilege of actually seeing these guys up close and personal sort of thing, so they can have a closer look and see what they're actually like, respect them out in the wild. And also they can help with anything that's going out, because these guys in the environment that they live in are going against their food supplies coming down, so they're having trouble with that. And also the biggest one is, like people are realising now, is the plastic pollution that goes on. There's over 7 billion tonnes of rubbish going on in the ocean each year, so that's getting larger. And these guys, we haven't just seen the seals, but we've seen turtles, we've seen other animals come in that have been caught up in plastic things and also eating it, like the turtles.
It's bad.
Yeah.
What role do these guys play in the wild? What's their main job?
Oh, look, their main job is basically to keep the fish population down and also to try and keep breeding as well. But also saying that they're on the food chain for like sharks and orcas and that sort of thing.
Right.
So it's a natural progressor. They're in amongst the food chain.
Now, where would they swim down to? How far do they go?
Okay, these guys here that we have here, you can find anywhere from around the southern parts of South Australia.
Yep.
not just South Australia, I mean the southern parts of Australia, round from Kangaroo Island to Geraldton in Western Australia. That's the Australian sea lions. And the others you can find from Kangaroo Island up to the northern parts of New South Wales. Even some places up along the coast here we've had seals, even up to 1770.
Good grief. Now tell us, what else is on display here that people can see?
Oh, look, we've got octopus, we've got different sharks, the tunnel that you can walk through, and it gives you going like you're underneath the ocean without actually getting wet.
Yes. Well, I think a lot of people just take it for granted, don't they? Until they walk through something like this, they really don't understand how the ocean operates.
That's like a lot of things, yes. If you don't understand it, you don't fall in love with it or don't think about it. Out of sight, out of mind. So if they come here, they get to see what the animals are really like. Just not the animals, the fish, the people involved with everything.
Yeah. Now, what else can you do up here on the Sunshine Coast? It's famous for lots of things.
Look, there's a lot of things. I love going for a walk along Mooloolaba Beach. It's a long walk and that. You can sit at the end of the mouth of the river. You can see dolphins out there sometimes and turtles. But once a lot of people don't get to is Budrum Rainforest. Now, there's two ways to approach it. You can come from the top if you like a bit of adventure. It's easy going down, but coming back up can be a little bit hard. So anyone who's just like a casual walk through rainforest to a waterfall down the southern part, and that'll take you along a man-made walk, which won't invade the environment.
The big thing that we've noticed on this trip is ecotourism. Everyone's looking out for the benefits to the environment from everything that they do, from, basically farming, making coffee, all the way down to people standing at the reef. And everyone plays a role in it, and I think that's the big thing that we've learnt. How far are we out of Brisbane? Because people would be listening to us thinking, well, how do we get to this place to see all this wonderful stuff?
It's approximately an hour and a half from the centre of Brisbane, so it's pretty close from Brisbane itself. It's, no worries at all. We have people who commute down to Brisbane each day for work. Yeah. And actually some of our staff travel up from there. Oh, really? So, they love it too. So it's that easy each day to come up and down.
Now, my final question is, how do you get these fellas to go back to bed now that they've come out?
What they'll do, they'll haul themselves out onto the rock work and they'll find their actual sleeping spots that they like to sleep in. Some, they all have their own enclosures behind the scene. Right. So in there they've got a swimming area, dry bear, air conditioning. The only thing they're missing is a PlayStation. We're trying to convince management that's good stimulation for it too, but they're not falling for it. So,
do they get to know you by voice?
They get to know our voices because we're on a regular basis. We can talk to them, but facial recognition, they've got great eyesight.
And can you go up and pat them, or are they fairly standoffish?
For the trainers, they're rather tactile because that comes in really handy for their health and looking after them. Yeah. That we can open up their mouth, check their teeth, their eyes, their flippers, everything. So that's the thing about it. A lot of people get amazed at how much further is actually covering over.
Yeah.
So there's things like that people...
I hate to think what the vet bill is.
We won't mention that.
That's why people need to come here and keep visiting, because it keeps these fellas alive. Do you get calls regularly for other ones to arrive here, or you can only take so many?
We only can take so many, but if we do get a call out, we'll actually go through the proper procedures of going through the RSPCA first. They'll go out and inspect it. If we need to, we'll get the government authorities. They'll come help us go get it, and then we'll go from there.
So you can't buy one at a pet store?
Definitely not. It's against the law to actually do that.
Oh, they're nationally protected?
They're actually naturally protected. Yeah, these guys here, if they can't even be hunted, shot, or taken in unless you're a facility like us and they're actually injured.
Well, there you go. Unbelievable. Just say we do find one injured. What's the process? What do you have to do to help one of these guys?
First, give it a wide berth, let it alone. It could be just coming out on the land just to sleep. But to make sure, just ring the RSPCA or authorities. They'll get in contact with the proper people to come out and check it out.
There you go. Well, look, Malcolm, thanks very much for the insight today to your wonderful career. You must go home at night and think, Wonder what they're up to. Are they mucking up? I bet you watch them on Wi-Fi. Can you watch them on cameras?
Look, we've got a camera up there that we do have a video inside. If we need to, we can go back. But you sort of wonder what they're going to be like in the morning. Who's got up to what during the night?
Do they ever fight each other? Do they get angry at each other?
Not necessarily. Our colony is set up in such a way that we have the 3 males that are at different weights and that. They do get a little bit upset with each other, but like Nelson, he thinks he's a lot larger than what he is. So he tries to take on the big boy Grudge. Grudge turns around, barks, and Nelson runs away.
There you go. The call of the wild.
Yes.
Well, Malcolm, thanks very much for your time today.
Thank you very much, guys. Enjoy your trip and enjoy your stay.
Thanks for listening to Try Your Own Adventure with Ingenia Holidays. With holiday parks and resorts across New South Wales and Queensland, Ingenia Holidays offers the ideal place for an extended break, weekend getaway or short stopover. Find your dream destination with Ingenia Holidays at www.ingeniaholidays.com.au.